Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the performance of the Super Saiyan Goku LR unit against Cell Max. Now guys, just going to preface this that with DFE or with brand new major units I will be doing a run in Cell Max and in Red Zone. And Cell Max is not a good measure of how good a unit is. There's a lot of factors as to why Cell Max is not good. Firstly, you can't use any damage reduction items. You can't use any kind of healing items beyond the Sensu Bean. Secondly, Cell Max is beaten by Evasion. Cell Max is beaten purely by the notion of avoiding getting hit by Cell Max. There are very few units that can legitimately tank a Cell Max super attack. So just to understand all of that, it is an incredibly tough event that is supposed to be beaten by evading the enemy. Bringing in units that do not evade means they are immediately going against the entire design philosophy of the event. So just to preface all of that, Goku does pretty well. The thing about Cell Max that stumps a lot of stacking units, like Ginyu for example, is the fact that you don't have time really to ramp yourself up. And Goku obviously stacks defense on his 18 key, but he stacks pretty decently because of his LR stats, so he can stack up pretty quickly. Not to mention the way his multiplicator passive works means that when he gets hit first, he can reduce his defense quite substantially. So Goku looks really solid, and we'll go through his passive. But now the first two phases for Cell Max are not really that bad, at all. Actually, the physical phase builds up Goku's attack so quickly because of all of the group attacks. You get Goku hit so many times so quickly that you actually stack ridiculously fast. So Goku builds up really well in this event. He builds himself up really well, and yeah, he is. I was very impressed with how well he did at 55%. Honestly speaking, I was very impressed with how well he did at 55%. So this is both 55% Goku's in this first run against Cell Max, and then I'll be including some different clips of his performance against the final phase, his revive skill, etc., just to show you guys everything that's kind of useful about him. But Goku, just to run through him again for you guys quickly, obviously a powerful comeback lead of 200%, greatly raises attack for one turn, raises his defense on his 18 key, he has key +5 and attack and defense of 159%, attacks effective against all types and an additional defense 59%, within the same turn after receiving an attack. He gets an additional key +1 and attack of 10% up to a max of 59% and 5 respectively with each attack received, and he will guard all attacks when your HP is 60% or more. If your HP is 59% or less at the start of his turn, he will no longer have guard, but you will revive with 59% HP if this character or an ally attacking in the same turn is KO'd. You also have a high chance of performing a critical hit and guard all attacks permanently from when he is revived with the revival skill. So yeah, overall he looks pretty solid. I mean, you can see here on this turn, on this rotation, defense is looking decent. It's not looking crazy, it's not huge, but he stacks at a decent clip. And he really starts to kind of build up that attack quite nicely with every single hit that he takes, basically. This guy is a very solid unit. You can see there, every time we're getting hit, we're building up the attack. Every single time. We're building up that attack, we're building up that key, and that makes getting his 18 key easier, which in turn makes stacking easier. The thing is Goku doesn't take a huge amount of time to get going. He starts off with very decent defense. He gets a lot of defense when he gets hit because of that multiplicative passive. Once he takes that first hit, his defense is a 311% boost, not a 159% boost, which is obviously very good. And yeah, he can stack on his 18 key, which is very impressive. You can see here that Goku that took a whole bunch of hits, hitting very nicely. Obviously attack effective against all types, is also something that's super duper useful. The ability to be effective against the multiple different phases of Cell is something that's very, very valuable. The better Goku is, the more dupes or the rainbow or whatever you have in him, he's obviously going to be great. But contra to that, you are going to speed through the first two phases of the Cell Max event quite quickly. You need to understand that the big thing that hits a lot of units in the Cell Max event is that the first two phases do not take a long period of time. And because of that, you don't have necessarily time to really ramp up any units, so you need units that generally start quite quickly to handle the Cell Max event. And the thing is, at the end of the day, there's not many units that can ramp up quick enough to take the sheer amount of damage that Cell Max does. On that note though, or on that kind of semblance, Goku actually manages to tank a super of Cell Max and tank his normals. So that's very impressive. Like, that is very, very impressive. And we'll see that obviously when we get to that phase, but it is very impressive from Goku. Like, that whole premise of him is a very, very impressive feat to do. I think, this event is very hard. It's, like I say, designed for evasion. So when you have a unit that can just front up and take damage and deliver that damage, it's always going to be something that's very, very, it's very good. And yeah, obviously he doesn't, like, he's not tanking absolutely insanely, but he does pretty well, all things considered. Now, he doesn't gain a lot from his links, so link leveling him isn't going to do much defensively. It will help him offensively, but that's not the big gripe here. But Cell Max is not an event designed for units like Goku. Goku will rock a lot of units in the game and a lot of events in the game, but he is not going to rock the Cell Max event because he doesn't evade. That is what beats Cell Max, is evasion. So yeah, we'll see Goku here. This Goku has 190k defense. We're going to just use the Senzu Bean just so that we can see how much damage he takes in full. And yeah, obviously, ideally the first hit's kind of the most important. Obviously, we're not going to have a good chance in surviving, realistically speaking. Cell Max at this point hits 530,000, but if Goku, takes less than 100k, I think that's really a good sign. 120 on first hit. He's now going to raise his defense as well on the 18 key. So we could be seeing a pretty impressive defensive effort here, actually. 30k, that's very good. 30, 32k, 30k, 29k, that is top. That is top level. That is, for a 55% unit, that is insanely good. That is like next level good. You don't have time to build in this event. That is an incredibly good level of defense. 30k from Goku, basically, acting as a pseudo Rakumen Gildo, which, people say, ooh, that's a banner unit. Yes, it's a banner unit running under a very efficient team and skill, with a lot of support as well. Remember, they always get support from Ginyu. People tend to forget that. So here what I've got is, I've got a clip of Goku's revive skill. And I actually want to show the revive skill because we don't get to see it, so you can watch it and then I'll talk about it. But what I do want to also show here is, not only are we getting the revive skill, but you're going to see later on how the revive skill can be a hindrance depending on which Goku you have. And we'll talk about that when we get there, but basically the Goku that revives gets guard against all types permanently, which is great. But the second Goku actually loses his revive chance and then is essentially unable to have guard against all types. So enjoy watching the revive skill. I know it's not often people see it, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Sorry, everyone. It's It's all because of me.
So obviously the revive skill is, yeah, helpful. I'm not saying it's not helpful. It is very, very helpful. The big issue with the revive skill is now the second Goku is hindered. So you'll see here we're below 59% HP. This is the Goku that did not revive. So this Goku here does not have God active, and he can't activate his revive because he's now below the 59% health threshold. So it's actually a big hindrance to Goku, and you're going to see how he tanks without God, and it's obviously very bad, so that's just to preface it, but it's just to show you this situation, and that's why generally I consider bringing Goku under another leader to be better than running Goku as a double lead. So bringing Goku under a Super Saiyan or a Goku's family team or something is going to net you a better result than having two of them, because the second Goku just cannot trigger its guard, and once you fall below the 69% health threshold, you are poked. But that being said, his active skill was super useful. Obviously interrupted Cell there, but you can see without guard, you're just going to take a lot of damage. And that's not Goku's fault. I mean, Cell hits crazy hard. Goku would have had over 200k defense there, but Cell just hits like an absolute truck. Here we've got a Goku, so this is a 90% Goku. Actually no, I think this is a 55% Goku, yes. This is a 55% Goku. We're actually going to see him, we've managed to stack him a little bit more, get him really kind of running nicely. He survives the super attack. Now, I know people will point and say, wow, he took 614,000. That is such, like, to survive that and then take single digits is very impressive. It's a very impressive showing. So Goku for me did a great job. If he had taken a hit beforehand, he would have taken 50k or so on the hit, but taken about 150 less on the super. So he actually would have ended up having 100k health, which is super impressive. And then you obviously see with type disadvantage MUI Goku taking 2.6 million. But yeah, don't use Cell Max to evaluate units. It's not the way to do it. But yeah, Goku did really well. Will he carry your team to victory? Probably not. But the fact that he can tank and not die is pretty much as good as it gets. Plus revival skill, plus decent damage. I think he did well. Let me know your thoughts, and bye.